I told you what would happen if I saw you again. Now look at me when I'm talking to you.
The evening air was hot and noisy. People moved up and down, cars honked, street hawkers shouted the prices of their goods. The small roadside food joint was full of hungry customers. A big pot of noodles boiled on a rusty gas burner. The sweet smell of seasoning floated in the air. People sat on plastic chairs, eating and talking. In front of the small shop, a girl stood alone. Her name was Tonya. She was about 12. She was very skinny. Her cheeks were hollow. Her clothes were old and rough. Her slippers were almost finished, the back part eaten by the ground. Her hair was dry and scattered. She looked tired, the kind of tired that lives inside the bones. She pressed her hands on her stomach. It made a small sound of hunger. The food seller, a man with a big belly and angry face, shouted at her. "Get away from here," he barked. "You, small girl, how many times will I warn you? Go and beg somewhere else. Stop standing in front of my shop. You are chasing customers." Tonya did not move. Her legs felt weak. She was not sure she could walk far. She was not even standing because she wanted to. Her body just stopped here, close to the smell of food. "Uncle, I did not do anything," she said softly. Her voice was thin, like it could break. "I am just standing." The man hissed. "Stand where? On my head? Do you see this place as charity? If you don't have money, go and beg on another street. Don't block my business." Some customers turned to look. One man laughed. Another shook his head and looked away. Most people acted like they did not hear anything. They bent their heads and kept eating. Tonya swallowed. Her throat was dry. She stared at the steaming plates of noodles inside the shop. Oil glistened on top. Vegetables sat like small pieces of treasure. Her mouth filled with saliva, but she did not step forward. It was not that she was proud. She simply had no money. In her pocket, she had only 3 small dirty coins, not enough to buy anything. She thought of Mama Grace, her grandmother, sitting at home on the old mat. Mama's back was bent. Her legs were always aching. They had not eaten since morning, maybe yesterday evening. Tonya could not even remember well. She felt tears push behind her eyes, but she forced them back down. Crying would not cook food. "Uncle, please, I am not begging," she whispered. "I just want to smell the food small. I will go soon." "You want to smell food?" The man laughed, but there was no joy in it. "Will smell put money in my pocket? Move from there," I said. He raised his hand as if he would push her away. Just then, a calm male voice spoke from behind. "Excuse me," the voice said. "Give me 2 plates of noodles." The food seller turned away from Tonya and smiled quickly. Money always changed his face. "Yes, sir. 2 plates, extra egg, sausage?" he asked. The man who had spoken stepped closer to the stall. He was in his early 30s. Tall, neatly dressed in simple but clean clothes. Plain shirt, dark trousers, old but polished shoes. He did not flash gold chains or any big watch, but there was something steady about him. His eyes were kind and sharp at the same time. His name was Daniel Okafor. He stood with relaxed shoulders, but when he looked at Tonya, his eyes grew serious. "Make the 2 plates full," Daniel said. "Add egg on both, and a cold drink too." The seller nodded fast and ran to dish out the food. Daniel turned to Tonya. "Come," he said gently. "Sit down." Tonya did not move at first. She looked behind her, then left and right, to be sure he was talking to her. "Me?" she asked. "Yes, you," Daniel replied. "Come and sit. Your legs look like they are about to fall." The food seller watched with small, angry eyes but did not say anything. Money had already entered the matter. Tonya walked slowly to the plastic chair Daniel pulled out. Her legs shook. She sat on the edge, ready to stand up again if someone shouted. Her heart was beating fast. No stranger had talked to her like this before. Soon, the seller dropped 2 big plates of hot noodles on the table. Steam rose. The smell hit Tonya like a sweet slap. Her stomach cried loudly this time. Daniel heard it and smiled sadly. The seller added 2 bottles of cold drink and walked back to his pot. "Eat," Daniel said. Tonya held the fork with shaking fingers. Her eyes moved between the plate and Daniel's face. "Sir, I don't have money," she whispered. "I know," he replied. "Eat." "But, Tonya, right?" he asked. She blinked. "How do you know my name?" "I don't," he said, smiling again. "I'm asking you, what is your name?" "Oh." Her cheeks warmed from shame. "My name is Tonya." "Good," Daniel nodded. "My name is Daniel. Now we know each other. So Tonya, eat your food. I already paid." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were different. Warm, confused. "Thank you, sir," she said. She took one small bite. The noodles were soft, salty, and sweet at the same time. The egg melted in her mouth. Her whole body woke up, but she still ate slowly, like she was afraid the food would disappear if she rushed. Daniel watched her with quiet eyes. People around them stared sometimes, but nobody talked. The street noise moved on. Car horns, shouts, music from a far radio. But at that small table, everything felt calm. After a while, Daniel spoke. "Tonya, why are you not in school?" he asked softly. She froze. The fork stopped halfway to her mouth. "I want to go," she answered. "But we don't have money. I stopped last year." "Who is we?" Daniel asked. "Where are your parents?" Tonya looked down at her plate. Oil floated on the noodles. Her reflection shook in it. She took a deep breath. "Mama Grace says, my parents went far away," she said. "She does not like to talk about it, so I don't ask." Daniel nodded slowly. He could see she was hiding pain, not because she wanted to lie, but because life had already been too much for her small heart. "And what do you do now?" he asked. "How do you eat?" "I help Mama Grace," Tonya said. "Sometimes I carry water for neighbors. They give us small money or leftover food. Sometimes I pick plastic bottles and iron from dustbin and sell. Sometimes we just drink water and sleep." Her voice did not shake. It was like she was used to saying these things. But Daniel's chest tightened. He looked at her arms. They were so thin. The skin around her wrist was dry. Her neck looked like it could snap if someone hugged her too tightly. He thought of his own mother, Mama Rose, sitting at home right now, probably praying for him. He thought of his comfortable house, the soft bed he would sleep on tonight. And here was this child, standing earlier just to smell food. Something hot burned behind his eyes. He looked away for a moment, then back at her. "Eat very well," he said quietly. "Today, you will not sleep on water." Tonya ate until the plate was almost empty, but then she slowed down and stopped. A few noodles and a piece of egg still remained. Daniel noticed. "What is it?" he asked. "Are you full?" Tonya shook her head quickly. "No, sir. I am okay." "But you stopped eating," he pointed out. She bit her lip. Her fingers squeezed the fork. "I want to keep the rest," she said at last. "For Mama Grace. She has not eaten today." Daniel's heart squeezed again. "How old is Mama Grace?" he asked. "I don't know her real age," Tonya said. "But she is old. Her back is bent. Her legs pain her. Sometimes she cannot stand up on time. I don't want her to suffer too much. I want her to eat." "So you will go home with half plate?" Daniel asked. Tonya nodded slowly. "Yes, sir." Daniel looked at his own plate. It was still full. He had been watching her so closely that he hardly touched his food. He slid his plate across the table to her. "Take this one for Mama Grace," he said. "Eat yours completely." Tonya's eyes grew wide. "No, sir, no," she said. "You paid for it." "And I am giving it to you," he replied. "So now it is your own. Eat that one," he pointed to her plate, "and carry this one home." She shook her head, confused. "Sir, it is too much," she said. "You don't know us. Why are you helping us like this?" Daniel smiled a little. He remembered his own childhood. He remembered days his mother had to choose between paying rent and buying food. He remembered one neighbor who once dropped a small bag of rice at their door and walked away without looking back. That one bag had given them strength for a whole week. Many years ago, Daniel said, my mother and I were also hungry. Someone helped us. He did not know us. He just gave. I never forgot. Now it is my turn to share small. Tonia's eyes shone with tears again. Thank you, sir, she whispered. She finished her first plate, this time without stopping. She took small breaks to sip her drink, but she did not try to save any. She knew there was now a whole plate waiting for Mama Grace. When she was done, she slowly covered the second plate with a nylon bag the seller gave her, as if she was wrapping a baby. Daniel watched her carefully. What do you want to do with your life, Tonia? He asked suddenly. She blinked. My life? She repeated. Yes, he said. What do you want to become? What is your dream? She stared at the table for a long time. The sounds around them faded in her mind. She saw only one thing, a small blackboard in a small classroom, children writing, teacher talking, chalk breaking on the board. I want to go back to school, she said at last. I want to learn. I want to read book and write well. I want to stop suffering. I want Mama Grace to rest. That is not too much to ask, Daniel said softly. Do you have a plan? Tonia's face brightened a bit. She nodded. Yes, sir, she said. There is this small cart. People use it to carry scrap. I checked the price. If I buy it, I can use it to pick iron and plastic every day and sell. I will make more money than these small bottles I carry in nylon bag. I can then go back to school at least part-time. And Mama Grace? Daniel asked. I will buy food for her, Tonia said quickly. The reason I am working is for both of us. When I get strong, she will rest. For now, she still helps me small, but she is tired. I don't want her to die because of stress. Daniel looked at her with new respect. She was just a child, but she was thinking like an adult. How much is this cart? He asked. She lowered her voice, almost like it was a secret. 20,000, she said. I have saved 8,000. If I work well this week and next week I can add more, soon I will buy it. Daniel nodded slowly. So you have been saving, he said. How long? She scratched the table with her finger. Almost 8 months, she said. Sometimes I have to use the money for food, but I still keep small. He took in a deep breath. Tonia, he said, you are trying. You are really trying. Her cheeks warmed again. Nobody had told her that in a long time. Most people shouted at her. They called her dirty, a beggar, useless. Hearing this man say she was trying felt like someone had put light inside her chest. Thank you, sir, she said shyly. He looked into her eyes. Do you trust me? He asked. The question shocked her. Trust? She wanted to say no. Life had taught her that strangers were not safe, that promises broke, that people who smiled could change quickly. But this man had already shown her more kindness in one evening than most people in her whole life. She swallowed. I don't know, she said honestly. But you are kind. Daniel smiled. Good answer, he said. You don't have to trust me yet. But I'm going to do something and I want you to understand it. He reached into his wallet. Daniel brought out a small bundle of notes. He counted it slowly on the table so Tonia could see. His fingers moved calmly. 10,000, 15, 20, he said under his breath. Tonia's eyes followed every note. The money looked like a mountain. He placed 12,000 naira on the table and pushed it toward her. Here, he said, add this to your savings. You can buy your cart tomorrow. Her mouth dropped open. Ah, no, sir, she cried, shaking her head fast. No, 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 I cannot take it. You already bought me food. You bought extra for Mama Grace. This one is too much, I cannot collect. Her hands stayed glued to her lap. She did not touch the money. Daniel kept the notes in front of her. Relax, he said. Listen to me first. She pressed her lips together and nodded. I am a businessman, Tonia, he said. I do not do free things. I call this an investment. She frowned a little. Investment. Yes, he said. I am putting money into your life. One day, when you are older, when you are making money, you will pay me back. Not now, not next week, not even next year. Just one day, when you are ready. But sir, What if I cannot pay back? She asked, fear already crawling up her throat. You will, he replied simply. You are smart. You are hardworking. You care about Mama Grace. You have a plan. People like you may suffer, but they don't stay down forever. She stared at the money again. 12,000. Plus her 8,000. 20,000. Enough for the cart. Enough to change something. Daniel smiled. Okay, let me make it fun, he said. When you grow up and you are doing well, you will find me. Then you will pay me back this money, and you will add interest. She tilted her head. What is interest? Extra on top, he explained. Like a small thank you inside the money. So maybe you give me this money back and you add 1 bowl of noodles. Her eyes widened. Noodles? Yes, he laughed. You will buy me noodles that time, sit me down and feed me. That will be my interest. Deal? Slowly, a small smile started at the corner of Tonya's mouth. 1 bowl? She asked. 1 full bowl, he said. With egg? Okay, she said. Deal. He stretched out his hand. She looked at it for a moment, then put her small hand in his. They shook. Now, take the money, he said softly. Tomorrow, you will buy your cart. No need to kill yourself in the sun again, carrying things on your head. Still shaking, she picked up the notes. Her fingers brushed the rough paper. She held it like it was glass. Her heart beat so loud she could hear it in her ears. Thank you, sir, she whispered. I don't know what to say. Just say you will keep going, he replied. That is enough. She nodded, still in shock. He reached into his pocket again, this time not for money but for something else. A simple wooden bracelet. It was dark brown, smooth, but with small scratches from use. He had worn it for years, mostly for memory. It reminded him of a promise he had made to himself a long time ago. If he ever had money, he would treat people well. He removed it from his wrist and held it out. Tonya, he said, this is for you. She looked at it, confused. What is it? She asked. It is our token, he said. Something to remind you of this evening, and of our agreement. From today we are partners. Partners, she repeated quietly. The word felt big in her mouth. Yes, he said. You are not just a beggar girl, you are not just a poor child. You are my partner. You will go, work hard, and become someone. And one day, you will find me and pay me back with interest. Tonya touched the bracelet with shaking hands. It was warm from his skin. She slipped it onto her own thin wrist. It was big, but she pushed it up her arm so it would not fall. Thank you, she said again. I will not lose it, I promise. You better not, Daniel teased. How will you find me again without it? She smiled for real this time, teeth small and white, eyes shining through all the dirt and tiredness. Sir, where will I see you? She asked. You will come here tomorrow? I may not be here tomorrow, he said. My work takes me to many places, but I am not hard to find. My name is Daniel Okafor. When you stand strong, you will hear this name somewhere, or I will hear your name. The world is small. She repeated it in her head. Daniel Okafor. Daniel Okafor. She did not want to forget. He stood up slowly. Now go home, he said. Give Mama Grace her food. Tomorrow go and buy your cart. Tonya stood too. Sir, she said softly, God will bless you. I don't know how, but he will. He nodded. I believe he already has, Daniel replied. He gave me this chance to help you. That is also a blessing. She carried the covered plate carefully, hugged the money close to her body, and walked away into the evening. Daniel watched her go. The crowd swallowed her small figure. The noise rose again, but his eyes stayed in that direction long after she disappeared. Partner, he said under his breath with a small smile. One day. Years passed. The road where the small noodles joint stood changed. New shops came, old ones closed. Children grew up. Some dreams died. Some dreams woke up. Daniel Okafor did not forget that evening. He thought of it sometimes late at night, when he sat alone in his home office, going through files. He would remember the skinny girl with big eyes, the way she clutched money as it might fly away, the way she promised to pay him back with one bowl of noodles one day. The wooden bracelet was no longer on his wrist. It now sat inside a small glass box in his bedroom near his bed. Sometimes when he came back from a long day, he would open the box and touch it. It reminded him where he came from. It reminded him why he worked the way he did. Daniel had grown. He was now the chairman of Okafor Group, a company that produced electronics, software, and other products used by many people. The company started small, in a tiny office and a rented workshop. But through hard work, careful planning, and honesty, it grew. He was still not the richest man in the country, but he was comfortable. People respected his name. When he entered a room, people stood. When he spoke, people listened. Most important to him, he could now do what others once did for him. He gave scholarships to poor students. He paid school fees quietly for children he had never met. He sponsored small businesses with soft loans. He helped widows start shops with money he never asked back. His mother, Mama Rose, lived with him in his large house. The house had big rooms, soft chairs, and a wide compound. But if you sat with Mama Rose and listened to her talk, you would learn that this was not always so. Once upon a time, she and young Daniel had shared a small room with a leaking roof. They had lain awake many nights, listening to rain drip into buckets. But now, when it rained, the sound was soft on their good roof, and Mama Rose would smile and say, "God tried for us." On this particular morning, Daniel sat at the head of a long conference table in his company's boardroom. Senior managers sat around him, laptops open, papers spread. A big screen at the front of the room showed graphs and numbers. "And that is the report for last quarter, sir," one manager was saying. "We met targets in 3 branches, but the factory in the north is still struggling. There were some delays with salary payments, but we handled it." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Delays?" he asked. "What happened?" The manager shifted on his chair. "Just a small cash flow issue, sir. It is fine now." Daniel rested his elbows on the table and laced his fingers. "You know I don't like any delay with workers' salaries," he said calmly. "They plan their lives around that money. School fees, rent, food, everything. If something goes wrong, I must know early." "Yes, sir, we understand," the manager said quickly. "It will not happen again." Daniel gave a small nod but made a mental note to ask Kioma, his personal assistant, for more details later. He trusted his team, but he also knew how small problems could grow if you did not follow up. The meeting ended after some time. People stood, greeted him, and left the room. Only Kioma stayed behind. She was in her early 30s, smart, neat, always calm. She had worked with him for many years and had become like a younger sister. She carried a tablet and a small notebook everywhere. "Sir," she said, "your next meeting is at 2, but you have about 1 hour free. Do you want to rest or make some calls?" Daniel leaned back in his chair and rubbed his forehead. "Kioma," he said, "I want you to check something for me." "Yes, sir?" "That salary delay in the northern factory. I don't like the sound of it. Get me the full breakdown. Who signed what? All the documents. I want to see everything." "All right, sir," she said, already tapping on her tablet. "I will get the files ready." He nodded. "Thank you." As she turned to go, she paused. "Sir, your mother asked me to remind you of a hospital checkup tomorrow morning," she added. Daniel's face softened. "Ah, Mama," he said. "If I forget, she will remind me again with her mouth. Don't worry, I will take her." Kioma smiled. "She said I should tell you not to try and dodge it," she said. "Her words, not mine." They both laughed. When she left, Daniel stood and walked slowly to the window. From the tall building, he could see part of the city. Cars moved like small toys. People walked in tiny lines. Somewhere out there, he knew, were thousands of stories, some happy, some painful, some are just starting. His mind went back, like it liked to do, to one particular story. A skinny girl, a wooden bracelet, a promise. "Where are you now, partner?" he murmured. He did not know that somewhere else, in another city, the little beggar girl had grown into a woman whose name now shook boardrooms far away. But that part of the story had not yet entered his life again. For now, he was simply Chairman Daniel Okafor, trying his best to do right. The sound of children laughing echoed in Daniel's mind as he sat in the orphanage director's office years earlier. It was a memory that still felt fresh. He had been in his late 30s then. Okafor Group was doing well but still growing. Mama Rose had begun to tease him. "When will you give me grandchildren? I am getting old." Oh. He had smiled and joked with her, but inside he felt a quiet ache. His love life had never really worked out. Some women he met seemed more interested in his money than his heart. Some could not understand his long work hours. Some just did not match him. One day, he visited an orphanage to donate books, food, and a small bus for the children. The building was simple but clean. Children ran around in faded clothes, smiling with gapped teeth and dusty feet. As he toured the place with the orphanage director, a woman with gentle eyes, he felt something move in his heart. "You really care for these children," he said to her. She sighed. "We try, sir," she said. "But no matter how we try, an orphanage is not a full home. A child needs a family, father, mother, love. We do our best, but we cannot give all." They passed a small classroom where older children were writing on slates. At the back, 2 children did not write. They whispered and giggled, giving Daniel quick, sharp glances. "Who are those 2?" he asked. The director followed his gaze. "Ah," she said quietly. "Those are Kemi and Kelvin, twins, smart, very smart, but stubborn. They have seen many foster homes. People bring them back. They say the children are too stubborn, too proud." Daniel looked at them again. The girl, Kemi, had bright eyes, long lashes, and a sharp mouth. Her hair was plaited neatly, but she sat with one leg on the bench, like she owned the place. The boy, Kelvin, had the same sharp eyes, the same nose, but he sat more quietly, watching everything like he was measuring it. When they saw Daniel look at them, Kemi nudged Kelvin and whispered something. Kelvin smirked. Later, in the director's office, while they were drinking water, someone knocked on the door. "Come in," the director said. The door opened. A couple entered. Their clothes were simple, worn from use. The woman held her bag tightly. The man's eyes were hopeful and tired at the same time. "Good afternoon, Ma," they greeted the director. "Yes, good afternoon," she said. "You came for the adoption form, right?" "Yes, Ma," the man answered. "We have prayed. We are ready. Any child God gives us, we will love." The director smiled warmly. "Good," she said. "Sit down." She turned to Daniel. "Sir, these are the Adabanjos," she explained. "They have been on our waiting list for some time." Daniel stood and greeted them. "Good afternoon," he said. They greeted them back with respect. When they heard he was the donor for the bus, they thanked him again and again. "May God continue to bless you, sir," the woman said. "Because of people like you, we have hope." While they talked, there was another knock. This time, the door opened before the director even answered. Kemi and Kelvin stepped in. "Good afternoon, Ma," they said together, not really sounding humble. The director raised an eyebrow. "Kemi, Kelvin, why are you here?" she asked. "We heard somebody came," Kemi said, eyeing Daniel's watch and shoes. "We want to greet them." The director sighed. "You two behave yourselves," she warned. "This is not playtime." Kemi smiled sweetly, but there was mischief in her eyes. She turned to Daniel. "Good afternoon, sir," she said, tilting her head. "You look very fine." Kelvin stood slightly behind her, but watched Daniel closely. "And good afternoon to you too," Daniel replied politely. The Adabanjo couple looked at the twins with interest. The woman's eyes softened. "These are beautiful," she whispered to her husband. "Yes," he agreed. "They look sharp." The director cleared her throat. "We have many children," she said. "I will show you around, and you can see them, talk to them, and pray about which child God is leading you to." She stood up. "Kemi, Kelvin, go back to your class," she said firmly. But Kemi stepped closer to Daniel. "Uncle," she said boldly, "do you have children?" The room grew quiet. Daniel smiled a little. "Not yet," he said. Ah, Kemi said, her eyes brightening. You look like you should have children. You look rich. The Adabanjos exchanged small glances. The director shot Kemi a warning look. Sorry, sir, she said quickly. They have big mouth. Kelvin spoke for the first time. We are twins, he said in a calm voice. If you take us, you get 2 children at once. Buy one, get one free. The Adabanjo couple laughed softly at the joke. Kemi turned to the couple. You people, she said without respect, you look like you cannot buy us bicycle. We want... She turned back to Daniel. Someone like this. The director gasped. Kemi, what is wrong with you? Apologize now. But Kemi folded her arms. No, she said, I will not lie. We have suffered enough. If we are leaving here, we want a good life. We want a father like this one. She pointed straight at Daniel. Silence filled the room. The Adabanjo woman's eyes filled with tears. She looked down at her lap, her hands twisting her dress. The man beside her swallowed hard. The director's face turned red. Sir, I am so sorry, she said to Daniel. Please forgive these children, they don't respect themselves. But Daniel's eyes were on the couple. His heart hurt for them. He could see their shame, their pain, their hope shaking. He knew they might go home that night and cry. He knew what it felt like to be looked down on because of money. He stood slowly. Kemi, Kelvin, he said quietly. Come here. They walked towards him, still bold. He turned to the Adabanjos. Please, he said gently, don't feel bad. Children talk anyhow. Their words do not define you. God knows your heart. Any child you adopt will be blessed. The woman nodded, wiping her eyes. He turned back to the twins. You want a father like me? He asked. They both nodded. Why? He asked. Kemi did not waste time. Because you look rich, she said. You can give us good things, big house, new clothes, phone, toy, everything. Kelvin added quietly. And maybe you will not beat us anyhow. You look calm. Something in that second sentence touched Daniel more than the first. Beneath the stubbornness, he heard fear. He took a deep breath. He looked at the director. If I want to adopt, what is the process? He asked. The director blinked. Sir, you want to adopt? Just explain it to me, he said. She sat slowly and began to talk about forms, home visits, background checks, and legal steps. Daniel listened, his mind already picturing Mama Rose's face when he would bring grandchildren home. Kemi and Kelvin watched with growing excitement. Later that month, after all checks and papers, after many visits and interviews, after prayer and thought, the court signed it. Kemi and Kelvin became Kemi Okafor and Kelvin Okafor. The day he brought them home, Mama Rose danced in the living room, her wrapper almost falling. Finally, she cried. God has given me grandchildren. Kemi, Kelvin, come and hug your grandmother. The twins hugged her, laughing. Daniel watched them with soft eyes. His house, which once felt too quiet at night, now had footsteps, laughter, and quarrels. Toys rolled under chairs, school bags dropped on the floor. Life came in like a storm. He told himself, this is my family. I will raise them well. I will teach them to be kind, to remember the poor, and to never forget where we came from. He did not know that the same children he loved like his own would one day stand against him. But that part of the story was still far away. For now, the house was full of hope. At first, life with Kemi and Kelvin was sweet. They were around 10 when they moved into the Okafor house. The first nights, they woke up in the middle of the night to touch the soft mattress, as if it might disappear. They opened the wardrobe again and again, just to look at the neat clothes hanging there. Grandma, is it really ours? Kelvin asked once, touching a new shirt. Yes, my son, Mama Rose replied, smiling. As long as you wear it and wash it, it is yours. They followed Daniel around the house, calling him Daddy every second. Daddy, look at my drawing. Daddy, see my homework. Daddy, my shoe is tight. It is paining me. Can I get new one? Daniel was happy. He bought them school bags, shoes, books. He took them out sometimes to eat small things. They went to a good school. He tried his best to be present even with his busy schedule. "Remember," he would tell them, "this house you see, this company you see did not fall from heaven. We suffered a small, so don't look down on anybody, respect people, be kind, share what you have." They would nod. "Yes, Daddy. Yes, sir." But as they grew older, something slowly changed. They started making friends from rich homes. They started comparing clothes, phones, and shoes. They started looking at people who had less and laughing behind their backs. One evening, when Kemi was about 16, she came back from an outing angry. "Daddy, why is your car so simple?" she complained. "Other people's fathers are using big Jeep with driver and bodyguard. You are still driving this small one." Daniel looked up from his laptop. "Kemi," he said calmly, "this car is not small. It is comfortable. It is also paid for. I don't buy things to impress people." She rolled her eyes. "So we should be managing like poor people when we are not poor?" she asked. "What is the use of being rich if people cannot see it?" "Respect yourself," Mama Rose cut in from the sofa. "It is this people that will not help you when problem comes. Sit down there and be chasing see me. One day you will see nonsense." Kelvin laughed, but he did not argue. He had learned to keep his words inside and speak only when it would cut deep. Later that week, Kemi brought home a man in his 40s, with a big wristwatch, heavy perfume, and an easy smile. He greeted everyone like he owned the house. "Daddy, this is Uncle Femi," Kemi said. "Your old school friend." Daniel's face changed when he saw him. "Femi Balogan," he said slowly. "Yes, now." Femi laughed loudly, stretching out his hand. "My guy, you did not even come to reunion. You just turned big man and forgot about us old people." Daniel shook his hand, his smile tight. "Work has been plenty," he said. "You know how it is." Mama Rose watched them from the corner, her eyes sharp. She remembered Femi from many years ago. He was the boy who always liked fast money and quick glory. They sat down. Femi crossed his leg and relaxed into the chair like he had sat there many times. "Ah, Sea House," he said, looking around. "You have done well, my brother. You really tried." "God helped us," Daniel replied. Kemi brought drinks. She sat very close to Femi, laughing at his jokes, touching his arm like he was funny. Kelvin watched quietly, paying attention to every word. They talked about old school days. Femi made jokes about how Daniel used to read too much and chase money too slowly. He spoke about his own business in loud, proud terms. "We are into many things now," Femi said. "Real estate, tech, foreign investors, money is flowing. You know, if you need anything, I am here." Daniel smiled, but something in his chest felt tight. After Femi left, Kemi followed him out to the gate. "Uncle, don't mind Daddy," she said. "He is too calm. We are tired of his simple life. We want to enjoy." Femi smiled. "Don't worry," he said softly. "With me around you will enjoy. Just listen to me. There are some things your father will never tell you." From that day, Femi began to visit more. He brought Kemi and Kelvin small gifts. He told them stories about how real rich people live. He laughed at Daniel's old-style lifestyle and too much conscience. "Your father is a good man," he would say, with a smile that did not reach his eyes. But sometimes, good people are also slow people. The world is not for slow people. The twins listened. Slowly, their respect for Daniel started to crack. They still called him Daddy, but the word began to feel light in their mouths. It started like a small scratch on glass. One of the factories complained about delays in raw materials. Another branch reported that a big payment from a client had not entered on time. A third location said the bank returned some checks. At first, Daniel thought it was normal cash flow trouble. Every big business had times when money entered slowly and went out fast. But he always made sure of one thing. Workers' salaries come first, he would tell his finance team. If we have to delay something, delay my own allowance, delay new chairs, delay paint, delay anything. But never delay salary. One afternoon, Kioma entered his office with a file in her hand. "Sir," she said, "I have checked that factory issue. I think you should see this." Daniel took the file. Inside, there were printed bank statements, approval documents, and signatures. He moved his finger down the page. something strange appeared again and again. Transfers from special project account to another account. "What is this other account?" he asked. "It belongs to a new holding company," Kioma said. "Okafor Future Holdings, opened last year." Daniel frowned. "Who opened it?" he asked. She looked at him carefully. "Sir, Kemi and Kelvin opened it," she said. "You signed the power of attorney that allowed them to sign for special youth projects. They used that to set up the account." Daniel leaned back in his chair slowly. He remembered that day. Kemi and Kelvin had come to him talking about how they wanted to learn real business, how they wanted to help move the company to the next level. He had been happy. Finally, they had shown interest in something serious, so he gave them limited power to handle small projects under his name. "Kioma, how much has left that account?" he asked quietly. She was silent for a second. "Sir, over the last 6 months, almost all the money we kept aside for emergency and special projects has gone into this new account," she said. "The total is very large." "How large?" His voice was calm, but his hand squeezed the arm of his chair. She told him the amount. It felt like somebody slapped him. He closed his eyes for a second. "Have we seen what they used the money for?" he asked. "I saw payments to luxury shops, car dealers, foreign trips, and some unknown companies linked to Mr. Femi Balogun," she replied quietly. "No record of actual company projects." Daniel's jaw tightened. He stood up and walked to the window. From there, he could see some of his staff moving around the compound. Men carrying files, women with ID cards around their necks, security at the gate, drivers by the cars. "These people are trusting me," he thought. "They are building their lives around this company. And my own children." He swallowed hard and turned back to Kioma. "Does anyone else know about this?" he asked. "No, sir," she said. "Only me. I came to you first." "Good," he said. "Keep it that way for now. Please prepare a full report. Don't miss anything." "Yes, sir." As she left, he sank into his chair. His head was full. His chest felt heavy. How would he face Kemi and Kelvin? How did they move such large money without thinking of the workers, the company, his name? Or did they think and simply not care? The next morning, Daniel drove Mama Rose to the hospital for her checkup. The hospital smelled like medicine and bleach. People sat on benches, holding files, waiting for their names. Mama Rose held her bag close, her wrapper tied tight around her waist. "Doctor will soon get tired of seeing my face," she joked. "Every time, Mama, come and check this, check that. Let them leave this old woman alone." Daniel smiled, but his heart was not in it. "Better they check and talk than for us to be at home guessing," he said. "Just relax, Mama. Everything will be fine." They did tests, blood, urine, scan. They waited. The clock moved slowly. Finally, the doctor called them in. He was a middle-aged man with kind but tired eyes. "Chairman Okafor, Mama Rose," he greeted. "Please, sit down." They sat. The doctor looked at the file for a moment, then at them. "Mama," he said gently, "your kidneys are not doing well. The way they should clean your blood, they are not doing it again." Mama Rose laughed in her usual way. "So my kidneys are also old like me," she said. "Doctor, I told you before, everything in this body has seen life. Let it rest." The doctor smiled a little, but his eyes stayed serious. "It is more serious than that, Mama," he said. "If we don't manage it well, it can become life-threatening. You will need regular dialysis to clean your blood. In the future, you may also need a transplant." Daniel felt the room spin a bit. "How much will all that cost?" he asked quietly. The doctor mentioned an amount that made Daniel's heart drop. It was more than most people would see in 10 years. He did not show his fear on his face. He just nodded slowly. "And if we don't do it?" Mama Rose asked, still strangely calm. The doctor sighed. "Mama, if we don't do it, your body will be filled with waste," he said. "You will be weak, you will swell, you will be in pain. We will try our best with medicine, but it will not be enough." Silence settled. Daniel reached for his mother's hand. "Mama," he said, "we will do it. Don't worry." God that brought us this far will not leave us here. She squeezed his hand. In her eyes, he saw fear, but also trust. After they left the doctor's office, they sat in the car for a while, both quiet. Daniel, Mama Rose said finally, look at me. He turned. If it is between me and those your workers' salaries, she said, remember they also have mothers. Some are paying rent, some are feeding children, some are treating sick parents too. He frowned. Mama, why are you talking like this? He asked. You think I will leave you like that? She smiled sadly. My son, I know your heart, she said. You always put people first. That is why God lifted you. I am not telling you to abandon me. I am just saying, if the money is not enough for everything, use wisdom. I have lived long. Many of them are just starting. Her words cut deeply. That same afternoon, back in the office, Chioma walked in with the full report on the missing funds. Sir, I am sorry, she said. The hole is big. Daniel looked at the numbers. The amount that had been moved out would have covered months of salary, raw materials, and even part of his mother's treatment. His chest burned. He held his head in his hands. He felt like he had failed. He had trusted his children. He had trusted his old friend. Now his mother's life, his workers' lives, and his company were all hanging because of that trust. But he did not have time to cry. He had to move. 1 week passed, then another, then another. The money problem grew teeth. Okafor Group still had some cash, but not enough to cover everything. Daniel tried to move things around. He delayed projects. He cut his own salary. He sold some shares. But it was like pouring water into a basket. At one of the factories, things got bad. Workers stood outside the gate, refusing to enter. Some held sticks, some held cardboard with words written in angry letters. Pay our salary. We are not slaves. Managers tried to calm them, but the workers were too angry. 3 months, one man shouted. 3 months, no salary. Do they think we are trees? My landlord is on my neck. My children are at home. They chased them from school. Another man shouted. They said the chairman moved the money abroad, that he is keeping it for himself. Which chairman? A woman yelled. Okafor. That man that people praise every day? You see, that is how they pretend. That is what we heard, the first man replied. He is rich now. He has forgotten where he came from. The talk burned like fire. Then a sleek car parked not far from the crowd. Kemi stepped out in tight jeans, fancy top, and dark glasses. Kelvin came out from the other side, wearing designer sneakers and a gold-looking wristwatch. Some workers recognized them. Ah, see Chairman's children, someone said. Kemi walked to the front with a soft smile. My people, she said loudly, we heard what is happening. We came to see for ourselves. We are suffering, someone shouted. No food, no salary. You people are enjoying inside AC. Kemi raised her hands to calm them. I understand, she said. We too are not happy. Daddy is behaving somehow. He refused to listen to us. We told him to pay you first. He said something about projects and future, but we know it's not true. Kelvin nodded like a serious person. Money that should pay your salary was moved somewhere, he said. We saw it. We warned him. He did not listen. Some people gasped. So it is true, a woman asked. He took our money. Kemi sighed and looked down like she was sad. We don't want to talk too much, she said. We still respect him as our father, but we also cannot watch you suffer. That is why we came, to stand with you, to show you that you are not alone. The crowd started to murmur. Someone shouted, If your own children are saying this, then it must be true. Another said, We should go to his house, drag him out. Kelvin raised his voice. Please calm down, he said. Don't do anything that will put you in trouble. Just stand your ground. Don't enter that factory until you see payment. Don't allow them to cheat you. Kemi touched her chest. You people are the ones making this company stand, she said. Without you, there is no Okafor Group. Don't let anybody treat you like dust. They left soon after, leaving anger behind them like smoke. When Daniel heard about the protest, about what Kemi and Kelvin had said, he felt like someone was stabbing him slowly. He sat alone in his office for a long time, staring at nothing. Then he called Kioma. "How much do we need to clear 3 months' salary in all branches?" he asked. She told him. His head spun. "But we must do it," he said, "whatever it takes." The next days were full of running up and down. Daniel called brokers. He called lawyers. He called old contacts. He sold things. First, he sold his big car, the one Kemi had called small before. It went for less than he expected, but he did not argue much. He needed cash fast. Then he sold some land he had kept for future building. Then he put the family house up as collateral. The lawyer shook his head when he saw the rush. "Chairman, are you sure?" he asked. "This house is your main family place. You have worked for this for years." "My workers' children also sleep in houses," Daniel replied. "If their parents cannot pay rent, those children will be sleeping outside. I cannot sit here and pretend." He signed the papers. At home, when Mama Rose heard, she did not shout. She did not complain. She just went to her room quietly, opened her small box, and brought out a nylon bag. Inside were some old gold earrings, a wedding ring, and some money she had been saving little by little over the years. "My son," she said, pressing the bag into Daniel's hand. "Take." "Mama, no," he said immediately. "Keep it. You may need it." "I need peace more," she replied. "If this small thing can help you sleep, take it. I am old. I cannot start business now. You, at least, are strong." He wanted to argue, but her eyes told him the matter was already decided. He kissed her hand and whispered, "Thank you." That week, the company accountants moved around with tired faces. They transferred money. They printed checks. They prepared payment lists. Daniel hardly slept. He moved from bank to office to lawyer and back. By the end of it, he had gathered enough to pay most of the salary debt, but not all. A hole still remained. He sat in his office with Kioma. "We are still short," she said softly. "How much?" She told him. He rubbed his face. "I will find it," he said. "But sir, what about Mama's treatment?" she asked carefully. "We have not even started that one properly." Daniel looked away for a moment. His throat tightened. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I cannot let these people go hungry. Not after they have given years of their life to this company." He stood up. "I will speak to them myself," he said. "At least they will know I did not eat their money." Daniel went to the biggest factory himself. The workers had gathered again, ready to shout. But when they saw the chairman walk in through the gate without bodyguards or big show, they grew quiet for a moment. He climbed on a small block so they could see him well. His shirt was simple, his face tired, but his eyes were clear. "My people," he began, voice firm but full of pain. "My name is Daniel Okafor. Many of you know me. Some of you have worked with me for 10, 15 years. Some joined last year. But all of you are part of this family." Some people scoffed at the word family, but others listened. "I stand here today to say one thing," Daniel continued. "You are right to be angry. You are right to complain. A worker deserves his pay. That is what the Bible says. That is what common sense says. That is what I have always believed." He swallowed. "The truth is this. The company is in trouble. Some money that we kept aside for hard times was moved without my permission. We have been chasing it. In the process, some of your salaries were delayed. For that, I take full blame. The mistake is mine. I am the head. Anything that goes wrong, hold me." A murmur moved through the crowd. "I want you to know something," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "I have sold my car. I have mortgaged my house. My mother gave me her last savings and jewelry, all to make sure you are paid." He lifted his hands. "I promise you today, by the end of today, you will receive at least most of your outstanding salary, and within the next week, I will clear the rest. If I have to stand on the road and work as laborer, I will do it, but I will not eat your sweat." One man shouted, "How do we know it is true?" Another said, "We have heard promises before. We are tired." Daniel nodded. "You have the right to doubt," he said, "but I beg you give me one more chance. Not because I am rich, not because I am your boss, but because for many years I have tried to stand by you. I am not perfect, but I am not a thief." An old staff, Mr. Ibrahim, pushed his way to the front. I have worked here since this company started, he said loudly, when this factory was only one small building. Chairman has never played with our salary before. When my wife was sick, he paid her hospital bill. I believe him. I will give him this chance. Another worker added, Me too. My child's school fees he helped. I will wait. Slowly, heads began to bow. Words of anger softened. Daniel felt tears burn behind his eyes, but he did not let them fall. Thank you, he said quietly. I will not disappoint you. After leaving the factory, he knew he still needed the remaining amount. He thought of only one person who could give it fast. Femi. Everything in his body resisted, but he put pride aside and drove to Femi's office. The place was loud and fancy. The reception had shiny tiles and big flowers. A large picture of Femi hung on the wall, his smile wide, arms folded. Daniel's heart sank, but he continued. Inside the private office, Femi sat with two young men, laptops open, music low in the background. They were laughing about something before Daniel entered. My chairman, Femi said, standing up with a fake smile. The man himself. To what do I owe this great visit? The young men greeted Daniel with respect and left the room. Daniel remained standing. Femi, I need your help, he said simply. Ah, this one you are straight like this, Femi joked. Sit down first. I prefer to stand, Daniel said. Femi shrugged and sat back in his chair, crossing his legs. Talk now. Anything for old time's sake. Daniel took a deep breath. The company is in a tight corner, he said. Some funds were moved wrongly. Salaries have been delayed. I have sold my car. I have mortgaged my house. I still need a large amount to complete the payments and start my mother's treatment. He looked Femi in the eyes. I need you to give me a short loan, he said. 2 months. I will pay back every kobo with interest. You know my name. I will not run. Femi watched him quietly for a moment. 2 months? He said. Yes, Daniel replied. Femi hummed, his lips twisting. You know, Daniel, life is funny. There was a time when you had small money, and I was struggling. I remember begging you for loan in school. You acted as if I was disturbing you. Daniel frowned. I don't remember it like that. I helped you when I could. Femi laughed harshly. Help, he repeated. You call that small change help? Anyway. He leaned forward. You need this money badly, right? Yes, Daniel said. His voice was getting tight. He thought of the workers. He thought of Mama Rose. Femi stood up and walked around the table slowly. He came to stand in front of Daniel, looking into his eyes. Then kneel down, he said softly. The words hit Daniel like a blow. What? He asked. Kneel down, Femi repeated. Beg me properly. Let me enjoy it small. Let me see Chairman Okafor on his knees. After all, we are all equal in this life, Abby. You want help? Show me you really want it. Daniel stared at him. His mind screamed no. His pride said never. But his heart saw only faces, tired workers, hungry children, Mama Rose on the hospital bed. He closed his eyes for half a second. Then he dropped to his knees. Femi laughed loudly. Ah, see my chairman on the floor, he shouted. Oya, beg! Daniel swallowed his shame. Femi, he said quietly, please help me with this money. I am not too proud to ask. My people are suffering. My mother is sick. I will pay you back. This I swear. For a moment, Femi just stared, maybe surprised that he actually did it. Then he clapped slowly. You really did it, he said. Wow. I did not know you loved these people this much. Interesting. He walked back to his chair. Stand up, he said at last. Get up, Jer. You look somehow on the floor. Daniel stood, his legs weak. So, will you help? He asked. Femi smiled. I will think about it, he said. You know, things are tough. Even big men are managing. Femi, please, Daniel said. I don't have time. Femi waved his hand. I heard you the first time. Go home. I will call you, he said. Or maybe I won't. We will see. Daniel looked at him for a long moment. He saw not a friend, but a stranger, Then he turned and walked out. His knees still hurt. His heart hurt more. That night, Daniel called Kemi and Kelvin into his study. Kioma's report lay on the table. They entered, dressed in fine clothes, smelling of perfume, holding their phones. "You called us?" Kemi asked. "Yes," Daniel said. "Sit down." They sat. He did not waste time. "I saw the accounts," he said. "The money that left the special project funds, the account you opened with my name, the cars, the trips, the clothes, the transfer to Femi's company, all of it." Kemi shifted in her seat but quickly put on a bold face. "Daddy, why are you talking like this?" she asked. "We only used small money to plan new things, to prepare for future. Young people must move fast." "This small money is what workers use to feed their children," Daniel replied. "You moved it without asking me. You allowed salaries to bounce. People are suffering." Kelvin spoke quietly. "Daddy, we know what we are doing," he said. "You are old, your style is slow, the world has moved on. Femi is teaching us how real money works." Daniel's chest burned. "I gave you my name," he said. "I gave you my house. I gave you my love. This is how you repay me, by joining someone to drain the company from inside." Kemi rolled her eyes. "Daddy, please," she said, waving her hand. "Don't make it sound like we are killing people. The company is big. Money will still come. You are overreacting." Daniel leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Listen to me well," he said. "You will return every kobo you moved from that account. If you have bought things, you will sell them. If Femi is holding anything, you will collect it. I don't care how you do it, but you will correct this." They were silent for a moment. Then Kemi laughed. "And if we don't?" she asked. "Then I will go to the police," Daniel said. "I will treat it like any other crime, because that is what it is." Kelvin's face hardened. "So we are now criminals?" he asked. "We that you picked from orphanage? So all your talk of family was just mouth?" Daniel felt like someone punched him. "I did not pick you from dustbin to insult you," he said quietly. "I adopted you as my children. That is why this pain is deep. If it was a stranger, it would not cut like this." Kemi stood up. "Daddy, we are not children again," she said. "We are adults. We are tired of living under your shadow. You act like you are the only one that knows right. We also want power. We also want title. If you will not give it to us, we will take it." Daniel stood too. "You will not take anything from me," he said. She smiled coldly. "We will see," she whispered. As they walked to the door, Kelvin turned back. "By the way," he said, "those workers you are fighting for? They are already angry. They think you ate their money. They don't believe your sweet talk again. So if you don't want trouble, better hand over the company to people who can manage it." He left. The door closed. Daniel sat down slowly. He was alone again. The next day, while he was still trying to complete the salary payment plan, he heard news from the same factory. The workers had gathered again. This time the crowd was bigger, anger hotter, and this time Kemi and Kelvin were not just standing with them, they were leading them. They held megaphones, shouting. "Our father has refused to release the money," Kemi lied. "We told him. We begged him. He does not care. He is moving his money abroad. If you keep quiet, your families will suffer." The workers roared. "Let us go to his house," someone shouted. "Yes," another agreed. "We will not leave until he pays." In the background, Femi watched, smiling to himself. "This is just the beginning," he muttered. In the middle of all this chaos, invites went out for a big business forum in the city. The event was hosted by a powerful global tech and investment company, Adeyemi Tech Group. People did not joke with that name. The head of the group was a young woman, not yet 40, but her name already carried weight in banks and boardrooms. Her name was Tonya Adeyemi. Nobody knew her full story. People only knew she had started from almost nothing, built a strong tech company, expanded into finance, and now invested in many local businesses. Some said she had studied abroad. Others said she was self-taught. Some said she was strict. Others said she was very soft towards people who had suffered the way she once suffered. All agreed on one thing. If Adeyemi Tech invested in your company, your future was bright. The forum was meant to bring together big company heads, investors, and partners. On the program list, There was a special section. Adayemi Tech will be announcing new local partners for long-term investment. Daniel saw this and felt a small ray of hope. If we can get them to invest, he told Kioma, we can clear all debts, restructure the company, and fix this mess. Sir, it will not be easy, Chioma said. Many people will be there, and right now, your name is already going up and down. The twins and Mr. Femi are spreading stories. I know, Daniel said, but I will still go. I will not hide. On the other side of town, Femi sat with Kemi and Kelvin in his house. The Adayemi Forum is our chance, he said. Chairman is weak now. We must show ourselves as the strong ones. How? Kemi asked. Simple, Femi said. We will paint him as a man who cannot control his company, as someone who steals from his workers. We will stand up as the young blood who can fix things if given the power and the investment. Adayemi Tech will listen. They want growth, not old stories. Kelvin nodded slowly. And if they don't listen? He asked. Femi smiled. Then we will make noise until they have no choice, he said. Sometimes image is louder than truth. He poured them drinks. To our new Okafor group, he said, raising his glass. They smiled and clicked glasses. They had no idea who was really standing behind the name Adayemi. The hall of the business forum was large and bright. Soft lights, shiny floor, big stage, long tables. Men and women in suits filled the place. Cameras from media houses were set up. Daniel wore his best simple suit. Not the most expensive in the room, but well ironed. He walked in with Kioma beside him. Heads turned. Some people whispered. Some avoided his eyes. That is Chairman Okafor, someone said. I heard his company has not paid salaries. Really? Another asked. I also heard he hid money abroad. That is what they are saying. He heard some of it, but he kept his head high. On the other side of the hall, Femi arrived with Kemi and Kelvin. They were dressed like a rich family in magazine pictures. Kemi wore a fitted gown, high heels, and heavy makeup. Kelvin's suit looked like it had just walked off a billboard. They moved like they owned the place. Media people snapped pictures. Sir, over here, one shouted. Can we have a quick word? Femi smiled and spoke loudly. We are here to look for serious partners, he said. Nigeria needs leaders who can carry young people forward. We are ready. Behind him, Kemi smiled and waved like a star. Staff from Okafor Group who attended the event watched the two sides. Daniel alone with Kioma, quiet and tired. Femi and the twins, loud and shining. Some of them felt confused. Who was right? Who should they stand with? The event started with speeches. The host thanked everyone for coming. They talked about the economy, about tech, about growth. Then they invited some company heads to give short talks. When it was Daniel's turn, he walked up slowly. He had planned to talk about numbers, plans, structure. But when he reached the podium and looked down at all the faces, some curious, some judging, some already condemning him, something changed inside him. He put his prepared notes aside. My name is Daniel Okafor, he said simply. I am not here today to pretend. I am not here to paint fake picture. The hall grew quiet. I built Okafor Group from one small office, he said, with 10 staff. Today we have many branches and hundreds of workers, but in the last months something went wrong. Money went missing, salaries were delayed, people suffered. That is the truth. He could feel eyes on him. Some people here already heard stories about me, he went on. That I stole from my workers, that I hid money abroad, that I abandoned my sick mother. None of that is true, but I understand why people believe it. When you are hungry, anger grows fast. He took a breath. I am not perfect, he said. I made mistakes. The people I trusted betrayed that trust. But one thing I have never done, and will never do, is to eat the sweat of my workers. Never. Murmurs moved through the hall. At the back, Femi shook his head and hissed. Drama, he muttered. When Daniel finished, some people clapped politely. Others only watched. Later, Femi went up to speak. He did not hold back. He spoke about old leaders who refused to step down, about companies suffering because of stubborn men who don't listen, about young blood ready to bring new ideas. He never called Daniel's name, but everybody knew who he was talking about. The crowd clapped loudly. People liked bold talk. When he returned to his seat, Kemi squeezed his arm. "That was good," she whispered. He smiled. "Just watch," he said. "When the time comes, we will remove him fully." Near the end of the program, the host took the mic again. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, smiling, "now we welcome the one many of you have been waiting to hear from, the head of Adeyemi Tech Group. Please stand as we receive Madam Tonya Adeyemi." The whole hall rose. A woman walked in from the side and moved towards the stage. She wore a simple but clean suit, not too loud. Her hair was packed back, her makeup was light. But there was something about the way she walked. Calm, sure, as if every step knew where it was going. Her face was older now, late 20s or early 30s, but if you looked closely, you could still see the outline of a hungry 12-year-old girl who once stood outside a noodles joint, staring at food she could not buy. Daniel did not recognize her at first. He clapped with everyone else. Tonya took the mic. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was clear and steady. "Please sit." They sat. She spoke for some time about building business, about honesty, about how numbers are important, but people are also important. As she talked, her eyes moved around the hall. Then they stopped. On him. For a moment, her heart jumped. The lights were bright, but she knew that face. The jawline, the eyes, the way he sat, shoulders straight even when tired. It was him. The man who once bought her noodles. The man who once gave her money for a scrap cart. The man who called her partner. For a second, her voice almost shook, but she caught herself. She finished her speech with a soft smile. "And finally," she said, "I want to say, never think that one small act of kindness is wasted. Sometimes, one bowl of food can change a whole life. Thank you." People clapped loudly. She stepped down from the stage. Instead of going straight to her reserved seat, she turned and walked slowly down the aisle, as if she was just greeting people. But her path was clear. She went straight to where Daniel sat. He stood, out of respect. Before he could say anything, she spoke in a very soft voice that only he and Kioma could hear. "Good evening, sir," she said. "Do you remember me?" Daniel looked at her carefully. Something about her eyes. "I am sorry," he said honestly. "I am not sure." She smiled. She raised her wrist. On it, hanging a bit loosely, was a simple wooden bracelet, old and scratched, but still holding. The world around Daniel went silent. His throat tightened. "Partner," she whispered, "many years ago you bought noodles for a hungry girl. You gave her this bracelet. You told her to go and become someone. You said she should one day pay you back with interest." His mouth opened slightly. "Tonya." He breathed. Her eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she said. "It is me." For a few seconds they just looked at each other. The noise of the hall went far away. The lights felt softer. The years between them, full of hunger, struggle, growth, and pain, stood like a wall and then melted. Daniel's eyes shone with water he tried to hide. You grew," he said quietly, almost laughing at himself. "Of course you grew, look at you." She smiled through her tears. "You too," she said. "You became chairman. You kept your promise to yourself." Kioma stood beside them, confused but moved. "Sir?" she asked. Daniel turned to her. "Kioma," he said, his voice rough. "This is the little girl I told you about. The one with the scrap cart. The one I called my partner." Kioma's eyes widened. "You mean this Madam Adeyemi?" she whispered. Tonya chuckled softly. "Please, just call me Tonya," she said. "All this madam is too much." They moved a little to the side, away from the center of the hall, though many people were already watching them with curiosity. "Sit, please," Tonya said. They sat at a small round table off to the side. A waiter brought drinks and quietly left. Tonya touched the bracelet. "I never removed it for long," she said. only when I had to enter some big places where they would look down on it. But I always put it back after. Daniel shook his head in wonder. I gave you that thing without thinking, he said. Just something from my wrist that day. I did not know it would mean this much. It meant everything, she replied simply. She took a deep breath. After you gave me the money for the cart, she said, I went home. Mama Grace almost fainted when I showed her. We bought the cart. It was small and old, but it moved. Every day I pushed it around, picking metal, bottles, anything. It was hard. Sun beat my head. People insulted me. But I remembered your words. You are not just a beggar girl. You are my partner. Those words gave me strength. Daniel listened, his eyes focused. Sometimes, she continued, when I wanted to give up, I would touch the bracelet. I would tell myself, partner, you must not shame this man. He believed in you. You must become somebody. She smiled faintly. Later, a woman in our area helped me fill form for a small scholarship. I got it. It paid my school fees. I did not know until many years later that the person behind that scholarship was your company. Daniel blinked. One of our education funds, he said quietly. He had set up many. Yes, she said. Your name was not on it, but I found out later. That is another story. After that, my life still was not easy. Mama Grace got sick. I almost stopped school to care for her, but I pushed on. I finished secondary school. I learned computer work in a small cafe. I fell in love with tech. Her eyes brightened as she spoke. I started with simple things, she said. Data entry. Printing. Later I learned coding from free sites. I joined online contests, won small money, opened tiny office with 1 table and 2 chairs. Step by step it grew. We built software that solved small local problems. People liked it. Investors came, then more investors. We expanded. We added finance. That is how Adayemi Tech was born. Daniel listened with a full heart. You did all that, he said. You really did it. She nodded. But all through, one thing stayed in my mind, she said softly. That one day when I am strong enough, I will find you. I will return your money. I will feed you noodles. I will say thank you properly. She laughed a little, wiping her eye. So when my team told me there is one Okafor group that might be interesting to partner with, and I saw your name. She shook her head. I thought, no, this world is too small. I did my research. I saw your picture. I knew it was you. The same man, the same eyes. Daniel smiled weakly. And what did your team say? He asked. They said your company is in trouble. She replied honestly. They said money is missing. They said workers are angry. They said some people inside are trying to push you out. They told me, Madam, this may not be safe investment. And what did you say? He asked. I said, bring me more information, she answered. I saw how you always paid your workers on time in the past. I saw your scholarship record. I saw how many small people you helped. I weighed everything. She held his gaze. I decided to still come, she said, because the man who gave his last money to a hungry girl and her grandmother cannot be all bad. Daniel looked down at his hands. If only everybody saw that, he said quietly. She leaned forward. Daddy Daniel. She paused. Can I call you that? She asked, half laughing, half shy. He froze. The word daddy from her mouth hit something deep. He had heard it from Kemi and Kelvin many times, but this one felt different. Clean, soft, true. Yes, he said, his voice thick. You can call me that. Daddy Daniel, she repeated gently, as if tasting it. You are not alone in this. I did not come here only as investor. I came here as someone you once believed in. Now it is my turn to believe in you. He swallowed. So, will you still invest? He asked slowly. She smiled. I will not rush, she said. We must still check numbers. We must still fix some things. I cannot just throw money into fire. But one thing is sure, I will not stand by and watch people lie on your head. Her eyes hardened. These stories Femi and the twins are spreading, she said. They will not last. I know what fake talk looks like. I have seen it many times. He nodded, hope waking again. Tonya, he said, there is something else. Something I have carried for many years. I lost a child. Long ago. It is a long story. But when I look at you, I feel something. Familiar. I don't know why. She touched the back of her neck without thinking, where a small mark hid under her hair. Funny, she said softly. I sometimes feel the same when I look at your mother in pictures, like I have seen those eyes somewhere. They both went quiet. The air between them felt heavy with something unspoken, a story not yet told, a truth half open. In the hall, people still moved around, talking business, shaking hands. At another corner, Femi was busy boasting to some foreign guests, not knowing that everything he built on lies was already shaking. For now, at this small table, it was just a man and the girl he once helped, sitting face to face after many years. She looked at the bracelet again. Remember our deal? She asked with a small smile. You gave me money. I will pay you back with interest. He smiled back, tired but happy. Yes, he said. 1 bowl of noodles, with egg. She laughed. Not just one, she said. You will eat until you are tired, and this time, I will be the one paying. As they laughed together, a storm was still gathering around them. The lies of Femi, the anger of the twins, the broken company, the sick mother, the secret of a lost child. All these things were waiting. But for a short moment, it felt like sunlight had entered Daniel's life again, through the same small door it used years ago. A hungry girl, a bowl of noodles, and 1 simple wooden bracelet. The next day, Tonya asked if she could visit Daniel's house. I want to greet Mama, she said. The woman that raised you cannot be a small person. Daniel smiled. She will be happy to see you, he said. But don't mind the house. Things are rough now. She shook her head. I did not grow up in palace, she said. I'm not afraid of Ra. The house that used to be full of noise and light was now quiet. Some furniture had been sold. The curtains were old. One of the bulbs in the sitting room kept blinking small. But the house still had one strong thing: warmth. Mama Rose sat on the chair, wrapper tied, scarf neat, glasses hanging on her nose. Her body was weaker now, but her eyes still shone. Good afternoon, Mama, Tonya said, bending low. She knelt and hugged her gently. Mama Rose held her face in both hands and looked at her closely, like someone checking a long-lost picture. So you are this famous Madame Tonya I've been hearing about, Mama said, smiling. Welcome, my daughter. They sat. Daniel introduced them properly. They talked small at first. Weather, the forum, the stress of work. After some minutes, Mama asked, Where is your own mother, my dear? Tonya's eyes softened. She died when I was young, she said. The woman that raised me, Mama Grace, was not my real mother, but she loved me like her own. She also died some years ago. So it is just me now. I'm sorry, Mama Rose said quietly. This life can be hard. It can, Tonya agreed. Mama Rose's gaze lingered on her. You said your name is Tonya Adeyemi, Mama asked slowly. That Adeyemi, did you always bear it? Tonya hesitated. No, she said. The people that found me when I was small gave me that name. They told me they found me by the roadside one night. They believed maybe my parents died or could not keep me. I grew up with them. Daniel looked up sharply. Found you? Where? He asked. She shook her head. I don't know the exact place, she said. I only know it was in one rough area. They said they heard a baby crying near a trash corner. That baby was me. Silence filled the room. Mama Rose's hand began to tremble. She looked at Daniel, then at Tonya's neck. My daughter, she whispered. Please, can you turn your back small? Tonya was confused, but did as she was told. She moved her hair aside. There, at the back of her neck, was a small moon-shaped birthmark. The shape was not very clear anymore. It looked like it had once been fuller, but over the years it had stretched like someone had pulled the skin. Mama Rose gasped and covered her mouth. Daniel's heart stopped. "Mama," he asked, "what is it?" Mama Rose's eyes filled with tears. "When your wife gave birth," she said, voice shaking, "I was there. I saw the baby. On her neck, there was one small moon mark. I never forgot. I used to kiss that thing and say, 'You are our star and our moon.'" Her hand went to her chest. "Daniel," she whispered, "look, the mark. It is there." The world went quiet again. Tonya's hands began to shake. "Wait," she said softly. "What are you saying?" Daniel stood up slowly, his face pale. "Many years ago," he began, his voice low and pained. "Before the company grew, I had enemies. There was one uncle that wanted my inheritance. People were threatening us. Your mother was pregnant with our first child. One night they followed us. We ran. Your mother fell. The shock brought labor too early." His voice broke. "She bled," he continued. "There was no proper hospital. She died not long after the baby came out. I was half mad. People were still chasing me. I grabbed the baby and ran again. In that confusion, I hid her near a corner just for a moment so I could drag my mother away from danger. When I came back," he swallowed hard. "The baby was gone." He covered his face with his hand. "I searched that whole area," he said. "I almost went crazy. I called. I cried. I begged God. But there was nothing. No baby. No body. Only silence." A tear dropped on his hand. "I thought she died," he whispered. "Maybe a dog carried her away. Maybe the people that wanted to hurt us took her. I never truly knew. I lived with that pain for years. My lost child." Tonya's chest rose and fell fast. She held her head. "So you are saying," she breathed, "that I might be that baby?" Mama Rose nodded, tears streaming down her face. "My daughter," she said, "you look like your mother. The eyes, the mouth, and that mark. It is not small thing." Daniel shook his head, as if he was scared to hope. "I don't want to build story on guess," he said. "We must be sure. We must do DNA test." Tonya nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "Let us do it. If it is true." Her voice broke. "If it is true, then all these years—" She could not finish. Mama Rose held her hand. "If it is true," Mama said softly, "then God has done something we did not even have mouth to ask for." Later that evening, when Tonya left, she did not go home. She went straight to a quiet, trusted hospital she always used for very sensitive matters. "Run a DNA test between me and this man," she told the doctor, who had known her for years. "Do it quietly. No noise, no leaks. I want truth, not story." They took samples. As she left, her phone beeped. A message from one of her staff. "Madam, urgent. We heard that Mr. Femi and some people from Okafor Group are planning something at the workers' estate. They are using your name." Her jaw tightened. "So they have started," she muttered. That night, in front of some low-cost houses where many Okafor workers lived, a crowd had gathered again. Some carried sticks, others carried stones. Children were crying. Women pulled them aside, afraid of trouble. Kemi stood in front, holding a megaphone. Kelvin stood beside her, face hard. Femi stayed a little behind, smiling like a man watching a drama he wrote by himself. "My people," Kemi shouted. "We are here because our so-called chairman has finished us. 3 months, no salary. Now he wants to run away and leave us in poverty," people shouted. One worker, Mr. Musa, raised his hand. "But I heard he paid some branches today," he said. "My friend from another branch got alert. He said chairman sold his car and house to pay them." Kemi hissed. "Which kind lie is that?" she asked. "That small money he paid is just to make you keep quiet while he clears his account. You people have not seen anything. He's even trying to bring one big investor woman to cover everything. That woman will buy the company and sack you." The crowd murmured again. Kelvin stepped forward. "I am his son," he said. "Believe me, I know what I am saying. Daddy does not care about you. He even said he is tired of carrying poor people on his head." Some people shook their heads, but others, already angry and scared, believed. Femi leaned on a car, enjoying the fire. "Let us go to his house," someone shouted. "Let us block his gate. Let us show him we are not goats." "Yes," Kemi cried. "Tonight nobody will sleep. He must answer us." They started moving as a group, like a wave. At Daniel's house, the gate man was already nervous. He had heard small talk that people were coming. In the sitting room, Mama Rose was resting. Daniel sat at the dining table, papers spread before him, trying to plan the next day. Chioma was there too, going through emails. Suddenly, noise rose from outside. Voices, shouting. Sticks hitting metal. "Open this gate. Come out. Pay us our money." The gate man ran inside. "Olga, they have come," he cried. Daniel stood up. Chioma's heart raced. "Sir, should we call police?" she asked. "Police will only make things worse," Daniel said. "If they see uniform, anger will go up. I will talk to them." He stepped outside. The crowd was already pushing the gate. Some were climbing small walls. One man threw a stone. It hit the front window and cracked it. Glass scattered. "Stop!" Daniel shouted. "Please stop!" But his voice was swallowed by the noise. Then someone pointed. "See him? That is the man! That is our money!" Shouts rose. "Come out! Thief! Our children are hungry! You are resting inside AC!" A stone flew and hit Daniel on the shoulder. He staggered. Chioma ran to pull him back. "Please don't go too close," she begged. Inside, Mama Rose struggled to stand when she heard the chaos. "What is happening?" she asked, voice shaking. Before anyone could answer, a big stone crashed through another window and landed near her feet. The shock hit her chest. She clutched herself and sank back into the chair, breathing hard. "Jesus!" she gasped. "My heart! Mama!" Daniel shouted, rushing back in. "Somebody bring water! Chioma, call ambulance!" The noise outside grew louder. "Look at them!" Kemi shouted from outside. "They're playing sick to make you pity them. Don't fall for it. If we leave here tonight without our money—" "We are fools." Kelvin lifted a stick and hit the gate hard. "If this gate does not open," he yelled, "we will break it." Just then, bright headlights cut through the night. A line of SUVs stopped not far from the gate. Doors opened. Men in plain but neat clothes stepped out. They were security from Adeyemi Tech. They did not carry guns, but they were strong and trained. Then Tonya stepped out too. She moved toward the crowd, her face calm but firm. "Good evening, everyone," she called. Some people knew her face from news. A few lowered their sticks immediately. "That is that Adeyemi woman," someone whispered. Kemi's heart jumped. "Why is she here?" Kelvin swallowed. "Who invited you?" he muttered under his breath. Tonya walked closer, not afraid. "Please, let us keep this peaceful," she said. "Nobody here is your enemy." One angry man stepped forward. "Madam, with all respect," he said, "our children are hungry. Nobody paid us. We heard this chairman moved money. We are tired of stories." Tonya nodded calmly. "You have every right to be angry," she said, "but your anger must face the right person. You should not be used like Cain in another man's hand." She raised her hand. "Ask yourselves one question," she said. "Who told you that Daniel ate your money?" People turned their heads. Slowly, eyes moved to Kemi and Kelvin. "They did," someone said. "His children." "Yes," another added. "They said he does not care." Tonya smiled sadly. "The same children that moved millions out of the company account for shopping, cars, and trips," she asked. "The same ones that paid money into Femi Balogun's pocket. Have they told you that one?" The crowd went quiet. "How do you know that?" Kemi shouted, suddenly nervous. "Who are you to talk?" Tonya turned to her. "I am the woman you have been using to lie," she said. "You told these people that I want to buy the company and throw them out. Meanwhile, you were the ones making their lives hard." She clapped her hand once. One of her security men brought a file. "These are bank statements," she said, raising them. Stamped, signed, verified. "They show exactly when special project money left Okafor Group account and entered accounts controlled by you and Femi." She pointed at them. "Look well," she told the workers. "The dates match the months your salary stopped." The workers pressed closer. Tonya gave copies to some of the senior staff there. They scanned them, eyes widening. "It is true," one supervisor muttered. "The dates match, the amounts. This is wickedness." Murmurs grew. Voices shifted. "So it was not chairman that moved the money?" someone asked. Another hissed. "We have been shouting at the wrong person." Tonya raised her voice again. "As we stand here," she said, "signals are going out. Money from my company and from Daniel's assets is entering your accounts. By morning, many of you will see alert. The rest will get theirs in the next days. We came here to make sure of that." One of her staff nodded, phone in hand. "First batch sent, madam," he whispered. Some workers' phones buzzed. One man checked and gasped. "Alert!" he shouted. "Salary!" Another checked, then another. "It is true. Money has entered. My own too." The mood changed fast. Tears filled some eyes. "We almost broke his gate," one woman said quietly, ashamed. "Look at what we did." Tonya pointed at the house. "Inside, his mother just almost fainted from shock because of this noise," she said. "A sick old woman who gave all she had to help him pay you. You threw stones at her window." Heads dropped. Someone started to cry. From the doorway, Daniel appeared again, face drawn, but standing strong. Tonya moved aside so they could see him. He lifted his hand, bruised arm in a sling. "My people," he said softly. "I do not blame you. Hunger makes mind hot. But now you see the truth. I did not eat your sweat. I almost lost all I have to make sure you are paid." Then he turned to Kemi and Kelvin. "But you two," his voice shook, "after everything." Kelvin looked away, jaw tight but eyes guilty. Kemi forced a laugh. "Everybody calm down," she said, voice less bold now. "This is just one side of the story. Maybe Madam is lying. Maybe Daddy is using her to twist things." Before she could finish, Tonya spoke. "If you say I am lying," she said, "we can move this matter to police and court. They will trace every kobo. I am not afraid. Are you?" Kemi went silent. Femi, who had been hiding at the back, slowly started walking away. "Where are you going?" someone shouted. Several workers grabbed him. "Leave me alone," he barked. "You people are mad." One man slapped him. "You made us almost attack an innocent man," he screamed. "You will not escape this." The crowd turned, from Daniel to the real enemy. For the first time, Kemi and Kelvin realized Femi might not be able to save them. And for the first time, the workers saw clearly who had truly been on their side. The next morning, news spread fast. Workers told their families. Neighbors told neighbors. Somebody had taken video at the gate and sent it around. In the video you could see Tonya standing with the file, the bank statements. Workers checking phones and shouting as alerts came. Femi trying to run, people calling him thief. People began to change their tune. "That Daniel," they now said, "is a real man. He sold his house to pay them. Not many big men will do that." But the damage to his name was still deep in some circles. Femi had planted too many lies already, especially among other big men and investors. At Adeyemi Tech's private office, Tonya sat with her legal team and a trusted doctor. On the table were two envelopes. One was from the trusted hospital, where she had done the DNA test privately. The other had just arrived from another clinic that Femi had recommended earlier, when he tried to enter her life more. He had said, "In case you ever want to check who your father is, I know a doctor. I will help you. We can do tests together. Maybe I am the one." She had agreed then, just to see what game he was playing. So that test had also been done, quietly. Now both results were ready. Her lawyer, Barrister Efe, spoke. "Madam, we already suspect which one is real and which is fake," he said. "It is good we have both. I'm sure Mr. Femi will try to use his own result in public first." Tonya nodded. "And when he does," she said, "we will be ready." In Femi's camp, things were not so calm. He had been questioned by police overnight but was released on bail because of his connections. He came out angry and more dangerous. That Daniel is stubborn, he growled, pacing his living room. But I will still finish him. If we can control Tanya, we control the money. If we control the money, we control everything. Kemi and Kelvin sat on the sofa, worried. Uncle, these videos are going everywhere, Kelvin said. People are seeing your name in the matter. Maybe we should calm down small. Femi turned sharply. Calm down for who? He snapped. It is when you have nothing to lose that you can be stubborn. I have gone too far. I cannot stop now. He waved a paper. This is the DNA result from my doctor friend, he said. It says I am Tanya's father. Once we present it at her small family gathering that she is planning, everything will turn around. Kemi frowned. But you are not her father, she said. Is it not risky to fake such thing? Femi laughed coldly. In this country, he said, paper is father. Report is father. People believe what they see in envelope. Truth can sleep, lie can dress well and walk around, and nobody will know until it is too late. Kelvin swallowed. He looked away, shame fighting pride in his chest. Tonya, on her side, had called Daniel. I will be hosting a small private dinner in 2 days, she told him. Just close partners and close friends. I want you and Mama Rose there. Daniel hesitated. Tonya, with all this drama, maybe I should not come, he said. I don't want to drag you down. She smiled over the phone. Daddy Daniel, she said softly, you are not dragging me down. You are part of why I am here. This is my table too. You will sit there. He could not argue. She added, and that other DNA test we did? The result is ready. I think it is time we all know the truth. His heart beat faster. Okay, he said quietly. We will be there. The hall Tonya used for the family dinner was not as big as the Forum Center, but it was beautiful in a simple way. Soft lights, round tables, white cloth, fresh flowers, no loud music, just soft keys from a live keyboard in one corner. Only a few people were invited. Some top managers from Adeyemi Tech, Barrister Ife, a few old friends from Tonya's early days. Daniel, Mama Rose, Chioma. And because Tonya knew he would try something, Femi and the twins. They all arrived in different moods. Mama Rose wore her best, even though she still felt weak. Tonya had sent a car for her and Daniel, with a nurse inside just in case. You look like Queen, Mama, the nurse said. Mama smiled shyly. If old people can still be queen, I accept, she replied. Femi arrived in a sharp suit, holding himself like a king. Kemi's dress was loud. Kelvin's wristwatch shone too much. They moved from table to table, greeting people, acting like owners. Tonya moved around greeting her guests, calm but alert. After food and small talk, she took the mic. Thank you all for coming, she said. Tonight is not about business, it is about family, both the family we are born into and the family life gives us along the way. She turned to Daniel and Mama Rose. I invited you, she said, because you are both part of my story, whether blood joins us or not. I also invited Mr. Femi and the twins because they help us see the kind of people we do not want to become. Some people chuckled softly. Femi forced a smile. Now, Tonya continued, many of you know I grew up not knowing my real parents. Recently I found out that one of the men in this room might be my father. We did a DNA test. Tonight we will see the result together. The room became very quiet. Daniel looked down at his hands. Mama Rose gripped her wrapper. Femi stood, smiling too brightly. Madam Tonya, he said loudly, if you don't mind, I would like to share something before the result. She looked at him and nodded once. Go ahead, she said. He walked to the front, carrying a file. Friends, he began. I have known Tonya for some time now. I saw something in her that reminded me of someone. I started suspecting that she might be my child. So I pushed her to do a test with a doctor I know. The result is here. He lifted a paper. It says I am her father, he said. I did not want to talk about it before. I wanted to respect her privacy. But since we are doing this open thing, let the truth be known. I, Femi Balogun, am her real father. Some people gasped. Kemi touched her chest like she was surprised. Kelvin kept his face flat, though inside he was not fully convinced. Femi smiled kindly and turned to Tonya. No matter what, my daughter, he said, I will always accept you. Whether you agree now or not, blood is blood. I am ready to take my place. He stretched out his hand as if waiting for her to hold it. Tonya did not move. Her face was calm. Thank you, Mr. Femi, she said. You are right about one thing. Paper can say many things. That is why we must know who wrote the paper. Now, Barrister Ife will help us. Her lawyer stood, holding 2 envelopes. In my hand, he said, are 2 DNA reports. One from the doctor Mr. Femi introduced, one from a different hospital chosen by Madame Tonya. We will open both here. That way, nobody will say story later. Femi's smile shook small. I don't see the need for that, he said quickly. One result is enough. We don't need to confuse things. Tonya looked at him. Are you afraid? She asked. He swallowed. No, of course not, he replied, laughing too loud. Open now. Open. F.A. opened the first envelope, the one from Femi's doctor. He read it out. It says, probability of paternity between Mr. Femi Balogun and Miss Antonia Adeyemi is 99.9%. Femi spread his arms. You see, he shouted, science has spoken. Let us not waste time. Some people clapped weakly, unsure. Daniel's heart sank, but he said nothing. He had told himself, if she is not my child, I will still thank God for bringing her into my life in another way. Now, Afe said, the second envelope. He tore it open carefully. The room held its breath. He read slowly. This one says, probability of paternity between Mr. Daniel Okafor and Miss Antonia Adeyemi is 99.9%. Silence. Then a wave of whispers. What? How? So who is lying? Daniel froze in his seat. His hands shook. Tears filled his eyes. Mama Rose started crying openly. My father, thank you, she whispered. Femi jumped up. This is nonsense, he shouted. Lies! That doctor is fake. That report is fake. My own doctor cannot lie. Tonya faced him, eyes now cold. Your doctor cannot lie, but he can collect bribe, she said. We already questioned him this morning. He has confessed everything. We have his video. We have records of the money you paid into his account. She nodded to Afe. He pressed play on a small screen. In the video, the doctor sat on a chair, sweating. Mr. Femi asked me to change the result, he said. He promised me 5 million if I wrote that he is the father. I am sorry, I was greedy. Gasps went round. Femi's face turned dark. That video is edited, he cried. You people are ganging up against me. This is set up. Tonya ignored him. She turned to Daniel. Daddy Daniel, she said softly, her eyes shining. The test says what my heart already knew. You are my father. Daniel could not speak. He stood slowly. Tears rolled down his cheeks now, freely. This is my daughter, he whispered, like someone in a dream. My lost child. My little girl. They moved to each other. When they hugged, it was not gentle. It was tight, desperate, like 2 halves that had been thrown far apart and finally found their way back. People clapped, some wiping their own eyes. Even some of the managers from Adeyemi Tech were crying. They had never seen their strong boss look so small and so full at the same time. Mama Rose wiped her face with her wrapper. What my eyes have seen today, she said. I can go in peace now. Kemi and Kelvin watched, frozen. They suddenly saw clearly. All the love they had thrown away was something another person had wished for her whole life. Tonya pulled back a bit and held Daniel's shoulders. I grew up wishing my father would appear one day, she said. I imagined how he would look. I did not know he was the same man that gave me noodles when I was nobody. Daniel laughed through his tears. I also spent years crying for a baby I thought died, he said. I did not know she was out there building a kingdom and keeping my bracelet. He touched the wooden bracelet on her wrist and kissed it. Then he looked up at the room. I used to think God forgot that small act I did that day, he said. But see what he was building behind the curtain. People murmured Amen under their breath. Tonya's face hardened again as she turned back to Femi. As for you, she said quietly, you tried to steal even this moment. You used my pain to push your agenda. You lied on an innocent man. You turned his adopted children against him. You almost destroyed a company filled with working families. Femi shrugged, still pretending. I only did business, he said. People are too emotional. This is life. Tonya nodded. Yes, she said. And in this life, actions have consequence. She signaled. Security men who had been standing quietly at the side moved forward. Mr. Femi Balogun, Tonya said clearly, we have gathered enough evidence of your financial crimes, false claims, and bribery. The police are already waiting outside. You will follow them now. Femi laughed like a madman. You think they will lock me? He asked. You think you are powerful? You are just small girl. I have people. Yes, she replied calmly. And your people have also started talking. When trouble comes, everybody saves their own head first. As if on cue, one of his close men slipped out of the room quietly. Another had already gone earlier. Femi's smile finally cracked. He tried to run, but security held him. You will regret this, he shouted, struggling. Tonya's voice stayed steady. I already regretted knowing you the day you helped my almost brother and sister to fight their own father, she said. Now I am just fixing that mistake. They dragged him out. He kept shouting, but his voice grew smaller as the door closed. Everyone let out a breath. The storm had started to clear. After Femi was taken away, the room was quiet for a while. Some people were still in shock. Others just watched Daniel and Tonya trying to process everything. Kemi and Kelvin sat with their heads down. For the first time in a long time, they had no words. Tonya turned to them. Stand up, she said softly. They stood slowly. Up close, they did not look like big people anymore. Their faces looked young and lost. Sister. Brother, she began, then paused, correcting herself. Kemi. Kelvin. They looked at her, their eyes red. I will not pretend I didn't feel pain, she said. You joined a stranger to destroy the man that gave you everything. You told lies. You moved money that did not belong to you. You made poor people suffer. That is not small thing. Kelvin dropped his eyes again. Kemi swallowed. I'm sorry, she said, voice small. We were angry. We wanted more. We allowed Uncle Femi to fill our head. We forgot how Daddy carried us when nobody wanted us. Tears rolled down her face. Kelvin spoke too. I'm sorry, sir, he said, looking at Daniel. I was proud. I felt like we were just picked children, and you did not trust us with power. I wanted to prove myself. Instead, I almost killed the person that saved me. He began to cry quietly. Daniel's heart ached. He remembered their small bodies when they first entered his house years ago. The way they used to hold his hand, the way they laughed when he bought them ice cream. He also remembered the insults, the lies, the sticks hitting his gate, the way Kelvin had said, You are old, step down. Tonya watched his face. Daddy, she said gently, it is your call. Law can take them. We have enough evidence. But you are their father. What do you want? Daniel took a long breath. I will not send them to prison, he said finally. Their mother already died. I cannot kill them while she is in the grave, but I also cannot pretend nothing happened. He turned to them. From today, he said, you two are no longer part of Okafor Group management. You will have no access to company accounts or decisions. The house I mortgaged is no longer ours, so there is no family property to fight for. You will start again, like all the people you once looked down on. Kemi nodded, crying harder. "Yes, sir," she whispered. "You will also stand before the workers you deceived," Daniel continued, "and say the truth. You will tell them it was you, not me, not some invisible hand. You." Kelvin's shoulders shook. "I will do it," he said. "I promise. As for money you spent," Daniel added, "you will work and repay it slowly for the rest of your life, even if it takes many years. You will not be destroyed, but you will not enjoy stolen things again. That one is over." They both whispered, "Thank you," through tears. Tonya nodded slowly. "Mercy with consequence," she said. "That is how it should be." She turned to her lawyer. "Prepare documents to remove them legally from any company control," she said. "But no criminal charges from our side, as Daddy has said. Let Femi carry that one alone." F.A. nodded. "Yes, madam," he replied. Mama Rose watched all this with tired eyes. "My children," she said to Kemi and Kelvin, "I have one more thing to say. If you like, listen. If you like, throw it away. Pride kills slowly. It makes you think you are more than you are. Don't let it finish you. God has given you second chance. Use it well." They both nodded humbly. "We will, Mama," Kemi said. Later, when most people had left, only family remained. Tonya sat beside Daniel and Mama Rose. They talked long into the night. They talked about his late wife, the mother Tonya never knew. They talked about Mama Grace, the grandmother that raised Tonya. They talked about the years between, full of near misses and half answers. "You know," Mama Rose said, "you must now change your name in your phone. No more Madame Adeyemi. It is my daughter now." They laughed. Tonya leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder. It felt like a place that had been waiting for her. Weeks passed. Femi's arrest shook the business world. News broke about his fake DNA, his bribery of a doctor, his role in company fund diversion. The same people that had been rushing to take pictures with him before now avoided his name. "Never knew he was like that," they said, as if they hadn't been laughing at his jokes 2 months ago. The twins did what Daniel wanted. They stood before Okafor workers and confessed everything. It was not easy. Some workers shouted at them. Some refused to forgive. But others, remembering their own mistakes in life, just sighed. "At least they owned up," one man said. "Better than still lying." Kemi and Kelvin moved into a small 2-room apartment. No drivers, no fancy cars. They started working with a small NGO Tonya supported, helping to organize training for poor kids. It was humble work. It was also healing work. Meanwhile, Adeyemi Tech and Okafor Group were building something new together. Tonya and Daniel signed an official partnership agreement. Their companies would join hands on a major security and tech project for a big firm called Brightline Group. Brightline needed a strong digital security system, plus honest local partners. 2 groups were in front. Adeyemi Okafor team. Another team secretly backed by some of Femi's old friends. "People will be watching this," Chioma told them. "If we win this contract, it will show that your name, sir, is truly restored, not just in people's hearts, but on paper too." Tonya nodded. "And if we lose," she said, "they will say, 'You see, his luck has finished.' So we will not lose." They formed a joint team of developers, planners, and security experts. Some were Daniel's old staff who had followed him for years. Some were young tech heads from Adeyemi Tech. There were late nights, early mornings, food wrappers on tables, and plenty jokes to keep them awake. Sometimes Daniel would visit the room at 1 a.m. "Are you people still here?" he would ask. "Yes, sir," they would answer, eyes half asleep. He would smile and send them small food and drinks. "Don't kill yourself," he'd say. "Go home sometimes. There is life after contract." Tonya, too, would show up in jeans and simple top, tying scarf like a normal girl, no makeup. She would sit with them, look through code, and ask simple but sharp questions. The workers loved her for that. "She did not just bring money," one of them said. "She brought her brain too." The other team, led by one of Femi's old partners, did not rest either. They tried to spy on the Adeyemi Okafor team. They tried to plant stories that Daniel was still unstable, They tried to bring foreign partners to chase Brightline with big promises. But Brightline's CEO had been watching the drama. He had seen the gate video. He had read the court papers. He had noticed how Daniel sold his house to pay workers. When push came to shove, he told his board, this man chose people over pride. I like that kind of man. Still, he needed the best system. So on test day, both teams set up their security walls in Brightline's system. Tech people from other companies came to watch. Media also came. The rules were simple. Both systems would be attacked with heavy fake cyber attacks. The one that lasted longer and recovered faster would win. The rival team went first. Their system was strong. It blocked many attacks and only bent when a certain kind of virus hit. They did well, some watchers said. Very strong, very foreign. Then it was Adeyemi Okafor's turn. Daniel stood at the back, hands clasped. Tonya stood beside the head developer, calm but focused. Are we ready? She asked. Yes, Ma, they replied. Let's go, she said. The attack started. Bits of code flew up and down the big screen. Red lights blinked. Warnings sounded. But the system stood. Where the other team had broken down, this one bent and bounced back. Brightline's tech expert frowned, leaning forward. This self-correction feature, he said. I haven't seen this exact pattern before in any of the others. It is original, one of Tonya's developers said proudly. We built it for Nigerian-style attacks. We know how our own hackers behave, he added with a small smile. Everyone laughed softly. When the test ended, the numbers were clear. Adeyemi Okafor's system lasted longer, recovered faster, and used fewer resources. Brightline's CEO stood up. For us, he said, this is not just about code. It is about who we are joining our name with. I want partners who will tell us the truth when things go wrong. Partners who respect their workers. Partners who know what it is to suffer and still stand straight. He turned to Daniel and Tonya. We choose you, he said. People clapped. Some of Daniel's staff cried quietly in their seats. Kioma felt her chest swell with pride. Later, as cameras flashed and hands shook, Daniel leaned over to Tonya. Partner, he said softly, we did it. She smiled. This is just the beginning, she replied. Months passed. Things slowly settled. Okafor Group got back on its feet with Adeyemi Tech's support. They restructured, cut waste, and started fresh projects. Workers were not suddenly rich, but they were paid on time. They worked with more respect now, knowing their boss had once knelt on cold floor for them. Mama Rose began her dialysis. Later, with help from Tonya and Brightline, she got a kidney transplant. It was not an easy journey. There were scary nights and long prayers, but she pulled through. When you have something to live for, she told the nurse, your body fights harder. I want to enjoy this, my granddaughter, small, before I go. Tonya visited her often. Sometimes they would sit outside in the compound watching children play. You know, Mama Rose would say, when I first saw you, my spirit jumped. I did not know God would really complete the circle like this. Tonya would smile and rest her head on Mama's shoulder. I'm just happy I did not give up pushing that scrap cart, she would reply. Kemi and Kelvin kept working quietly. They had lost their fancy toys, but they had gained something else, sense. Sometimes, after a long day of coordinating training at the youth center, they would sit together and talk about the past. Do you think Daddy will ever fully forgive us? Kemi asked once. Kelvin sighed. I think he already has, he said. We are the ones who need to forgive ourselves. They made it a point to tell their story to some of the young people they trained. Money is sweet, Kelvin would say, but if you chase it without sense, it will disgrace you. Don't let greed make you fight people that love you. The kids always listened closely. It was different hearing it from people who had actually touched big money and then lost it. One cool evening, Daniel and Tonya drove to an old area on the other side of town. The streets were noisy. Hawkers shouted, children ran, smell of food filled the air. They stopped near a small corner where a woman was selling noodles and eggs under a dim bulb. Why are we here? Tanya asked, smiling already as if she knew. Daniel looked around slowly. Many years ago, he said, pointing to a spot near the stall, a hungry girl stood there watching people eat. She was saving for school. I bought her one bowl, that was all. She looked at the ground, then at him. And that one bowl followed us till here, she said softly. They walked to the woman. Good evening, madam, Daniel greeted. Good evening, sir, she replied. What will you eat? Today, Daniel said, smiling. Any child that is hungry will eat. No counting, just keep making noodles. Put egg, we will pay. The woman blinked. Are you serious, sir? She asked. Yes, Tonya said. Serious. If you run out of gas, we will buy. If you run out of noodles, we will buy more. Just feed them. One boy who had been standing near, eyeing the food, laughed in surprise. For real? He asked. Yes, my dear, Tonya said. Call your friends. For the next 1 hour, children and some tired adults lined up. The woman cooked and cooked. Noodles, eggs, vegetables, oil. The smell spread. Some of the kids ate like they hadn't seen food all day. Some packed small home for younger ones. Tonya and Daniel sat on a bench watching them. This is how it started, she murmured. One person saying, let one less person suffer today. Daniel nodded. I used to think that bowl was small, he said. Today I know it was not just noodles. It was a seed. A little girl, skinny and barefoot, held her plate and looked at them. Thank you, sir, she said shy. And thank you, Ma. What is your name? Tonya asked. Peace, she replied. Tonya's chest squeezed. She dug into her bag and brought out a small, simple bracelet she had bought earlier that week, without knowing why. Peace, she said, tying it on the girl's wrist. Keep this. Anytime life is hard, look at it and remember that you are more than your suffering. You hear? The girl nodded seriously. Yes, Ma, she said. She ran off, bracelet shaking softly on her arm. Daniel watched, eyes shining. So the circle continues, he said. One hungry girl becomes helper. One act of kindness becomes river. Tonya leaned back, looking up at the sky. Sometimes when I think of everything, she said, I realize life is like long story. You don't know the next chapter, but if you choose kindness in your own part, maybe the ending will surprise you in a good way. He smiled. You know you are the one that will tell this story in tech conferences, he teased. I will just be the old man in the corner nodding. She laughed. No, she said. You are the main character. I am just the twist. They sat there until the night got deeper and the street quieter. Father and daughter. Two partners, once separated by pain and fear, now joined by truth and grace. Somewhere in a small room not far from there, Peace would sleep that night with a full stomach and a bracelet on her wrist, not knowing that big doors had just opened for her future. Tonya had already told Chioma, find that girl tomorrow, take her name, we will pay her school fees. And far away, in a prison cell, Femi sat alone, replaying his choices. He had grabbed at money and power until his hands were empty. The world had moved on without him. But in this small corner, under one bulb and beside one noodle pot, a new story was starting again. All because many years ago one tired man stopped, looked at one hungry girl and said, helping one person means one less sufferer. And that one girl never forgot.